Welcome on back to the Rabbit Hole. This is, I don't even know what I try doing this every week where it's like, oh, it's week 4, week 5. I don't know, but we're just past the start of both seasons for NFL and in college. We are now into basically the thick of things. Like it's, Jake, you pretty much mentioned it last week. If you get through Baylor, then you got a tough middle season ahead of you, and things are getting tough for everyone. Really, everyone's big games are coming up. OU Texas this week. Jake, you guys have a bye week this week, but then after that you got Texas and who else? Iowa State. So, we are getting into the thick of things. Last weekend was a great college weekend. We had Cincinnati, Notre Dame, which, I mean, Notre Dame is just a fraud, right? We had a big weekend last weekend, another big weekend this weekend. So just be sure to watch the show, watch the clips we're putting out. Thank you for following. Thank you for listening. Hit the subscribe button. Be sure to follow us all on Twitter at The Bake Is Here, at PrestonPool405, at Jake Cart, and at Rabbit Hole. I mean, it's really the whole 9 yards. Just follow us on Twitter, see what we're doing, follow our picks, because I have like 20 more picks that I'm throwing out, through the week and over the weekend, because I'm just throwing parlays down left and right. I finally hit a big one. It was Texas Tech, Kentucky, Nevada, money line and points that hit. I put down like $3 on one of them, and it turned into like $100 win. So like, hey, it is what it is, right? It's those little big risk or little risk, big rewards type ones that are meaningful. They really do change the game. Anyway, let's get right into the show. Obviously, huge night tonight. Tonight is Tuesday. We put the show out on Wednesday, but I had to wear this. I mean, New York, a huge game tonight in Boston, wild card game. I mean, I don't like the idea that we're playing a wild card. I wish we would have just fucking won the division, but that wasn't really going to happen. So huge game tonight in Boston. I know, Preston, you guys, the Cards have a huge game tomorrow night with the Dodgers.
Yeah.
Is that
in
LA?
Yeah.
So that's another huge one. I got money on the Cards. I think it's a good plus money line with how hot they've been lately. I think they finally lost the streak, which is actually better. That's way better to happen. You don't want to go into the playoffs with a winning streak. I think that is just terrible. Jake, you probably would agree. I think you would agree with me on that, especially going for probably for baseball and March Madness. I don't know about football. Football, you probably want to win as much as possible going into everything. But for baseball and basketball, I feel like going into the playoffs, you kind of want to get your losses out of you. So the Cards got that loss out of them. You guys are red hot though. And so I think that's just great. It's just great money. It's an easy pick. Yeah. The Dodgers are good. It's Max Scherzer, but Cards are hot. So,
well, plus, and Wainwright's throwing, so he's got 17 wins on the season. He's 80 years old. He's cruising right now. So I don't think there's any other pitcher that you'd want on the mound. Yeah, and they have the ace. They have the ace, Jack Flaherty, coming out of the bullpen.
Preston, I got a bone to pick with you. I have a freaking bone. I support other than OU, I support your team so much, and it's just you're just so negative about my teams. It's I support your teams and your guys so much. I even had that clip last week about the freaking Giants and Justin Herbert. I mean it. Justin Herbert is the future of the NFL. I think it's him, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes. Those three, it's going to be those three, just like it was Peyton Manning, Ben Roethlisberger, Tom Brady in the mid 2000s, early 2010s. Like that was the core group of quarterbacks that was like, they're in it year after year after year. I think it's Josh Allen, Justin Herbert, and Patrick Mahomes. They're the top of the faces of the league right now. And Justin Herbert is just phenomenal. And
he put on a show last night.
And by the way, I can't watch any fucking Giants games out here because I'm in Oklahoma, and it pains me, but it also is kind of a stress reliever. But from what I'm seeing from Giants fans I follow on Twitter and watch and listen for podcasts, they had a pretty positive sense after this past weekend. Obviously, the numbers looked good for Daniel Jones, but like just eye test stuff, I guess he looks pretty good. I still would rather have Justin Herbert. They screwed up. I know you don't want to take quarterbacks back-to-back years, but with what Daniel Jones showed it his first year and what Justin Herbert had the potential to be, and obviously is proving it right now. I just think it was a miss on the Giants. Just a couple quick things I want to get out of the way. Already got out of the way the New York Yankees game tonight. Shout out to Team Pups. That's my favorite thing to follow on Twitter now. The Washington Capitals got a team puppy, Biscuit. He's the cutest fucking thing ever. Shout out to Team Pups. I wish they did more of them on Twitter. Maybe there's more on Instagram. I know the Atlanta United soccer team has one. Don't know his name. Haven't remembered that. But I have Biscuit's notifications turned on to the match all tweets.
So he actually has like a Twitter account and everything?
Yeah, Biscuit.
Okay.
I think it's Caps Pup. I'll throw it up on here in the video. You'll see it. And on Twitter, I share it all the time. So Caps Pup, shout out Caps Pup Biscuit, cutest little chocolate lab ever. What'd you guys think about the weekend? Obviously the big games. None of us saw what was going to happen with Arkansas. I mean, obviously the spread was huge, but we all took the spread. We all took Arkansas on the spread plus 18.5.
Yeah.
I genuinely thought they were going to at least cover that 18.5. That was a lot for a team that was ranked number 8 to have. And they just shit the bed. They didn't put up a single point. I think it was 37-0 Georgia put on them. Georgia is the real deal. I don't foresee them losing. I think they're going to be the number 1 team. I think Bama is going to, I don't think it's going to be this weekend because A&M sucks. But I think Bama might take an L before they meet Georgia in the SEC championship game and before they meet them in the playoffs, potentially, you know. But other than that, what were some other games that you guys saw? Preston, you guys got close. I mean, I know the score didn't show it, but that was not a great game for you guys.
To be fair, it's one of the more complete offensively games, I guess, if you will, that they've put together so far this year. Defensively, had a couple injuries in the game and going into the week, so had to play some basically like third string guys in the secondary. Linebackers still not playing well for the defense, but that offensive line, OU was able to run the ball. It's something they haven't been able to do much yet this season. They were able to run the ball. Spencer Rattler was good. Overall, it's one of those games you're just glad to get out of Manhattan with a win and move on to Texas this week.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I mean, it was close until like probably halfway through the third quarter, right? I'd say. And right around there. When
you look at it, like they were up by 2 touchdowns with like a minute and 30 seconds left. K-State goes down and I think scores a touchdown with a little bit left, and it ended up being a 6-something-point game, 7-point game. I can't remember, but
yeah, because they did cover the spread, right? Jake, you had them on the spread.
Yeah. The spread was 10.5.
3 years in a row. I mean, you've taken that spread 3 years in a row. So pat on your back because you've taken that pick 3 years in a row. That's dedication. I would like to see if next year you're going to take it, but go right ahead.
Also,
have at it.
I mean, dude, I did get it wrong that K-State did not win the game. But I didn't take the money line. I did take the spread. But the thing was, I was the only one. I called Skylar Thompson was going to play. I just felt it in my heart. I knew it was going to happen, and it came to fruition. I think it hurt that he literally has a bum leg and can't run.
Yeah, I was going to say that was one of the big things. Yeah.
I think if Skylar Thompson could have run, then it would have been a lot different. But, you know, that's the only option they had because they have to pass. Because they knew that going into the game that Kansas State's defense is just not that good. They knew their D-line was going to get pushed around. They knew their secondary, they play off. They don't play super aggressive and stack the box. So the thing is they knew they were going to have to pass and kind of be in a little bit of a shootout with OU. And I think OU performed as a typical OU team usually does, is that their defense, it doesn't have the best performance, but their offense was rolling. And you know, the shootout was pretty crazy. I mean, other than the loss, I think 90% of what I said last week was pretty much right on the money with it all. And all my other picks were absolute garbage. I mean,
yeah. So let's go around and Jake, let everyone know what your picks were last week and what you went. And then Preston, you'll do the same and I'll go after.
Well, I will preface by saying that the worse my picks are, the better my team does. So I might be fading myself the whole year I mean, if OSU wins a national title and I go freaking 37. I don't care. So we'll see what happens. But
we'll see what happens because we got some orders of business to actually talk about too after this segment.
So I had Arkansas. I think we all had Arkansas. That was just an unbelievable performance. It's just like whatever Shane Beamer said, 105-star defensive players you have to play against, just destroyed them. Laying a goose egg was just nuts. And then probably the worst pick was Tulsa. I had Tulsa 4.5 against Houston, and they got the doors blown off. It was like 44-10 or something. And so K-State was my one shining thing that happened. And
what's that bring your record to?
My record is 6-9.
So, oh, nice.
This made nice.
Be 6-9. Preston, what's your record and what were your picks last week?
So I came into last week at 7-6. I went 1-2. So my record now is 8-8. So 500 on the season. My picks, obviously, we had Arkansas 18.5 versus Georgia. I started watching the game. I had to switch it over to Texas TCU because I was like, that was terrible. But and then I had the under 52.5 in the OU K-State. That one didn't hit. And I did have Cincinnati -2.5 versus Notre Dame. That one hit fairly easily. Cincinnati seems like they're the real deal. They have a pretty cakewalky schedule here the rest of the season.
They're basically a control your own fate team now, right?
Yeah.
Well,
you go up to,
they could get left out as an undefeated, but their resume kind of handles it as long as Notre Dame pretty much runs the rest of their table, or at least like shows some strength the rest of the season.
Yeah.
I think Cincinnati is pretty much a control your destiny team.
And it depends how the SEC shakes out, the Big Ten as well. At the end of the season too, a conference champ. So who really knows? But they are looking like the best of the group of fives currently at the moment. Have the best shot, I think, to make the playoffs.
Agreed, 100%. So yeah, that was all your picks?
Yep.
All right. So I went. I'm sitting at 10-9 now, and I went 2-2. So I mean, same. Basically, just moved the numbers up, but same. I was 9-8 or 8-7 last week, or whatever the hell the numbers. I'm not good at math. So last week I went 2-2. Syracuse and BYU both covered for me. Syracuse, that was a close one. I had to sweat that one out, but kind of knew it. Florida State just fucking sucks. And I'll never bet for them again. BYU covered 8.5. I mean, it was Utah State. I think they ended up covering by 13. I didn't get to watch it, but BYU. I mean, it's just BYU. Utah State got blown out the week before. BYU is coming off a tough game the week before as well. And so, yeah, easy pick. Arkansas, we all said the same thing. Now, the one game that did surprise me was Michigan, Wisconsin. Wisconsin is just terrible. They have no offense. Like I don't even think that they have any plays at all that have ever been successful. I mean, they've scored like 3 touchdowns the last 2 weeks, one of which was last 2 weeks ago. And so Wisconsin sucks. Michigan is like still, I don't fully know. Are they the real deal? Like, is that going to be a contending team for the Ohio State game at the end of the year? Like, are they going to actually put up a fight? I don't know. I think this weekend will tell a lot because they play Nebraska. Nebraska is also one of those teams where we actually think they're kind of good now. Like, even though they lost that one first week game to Illinois, where we were like, wow, Nebraska is just terrible and boom, done. But Nebraska is actually kind of decent. And I even said it at the beginning of the year, Nebraska is going to be a team Ohio State should watch. I think that Nebraska is going to be a team both Michigan and Ohio State watches. And it's going to be it's huge for us that Michigan plays them this weekend. We can see what they do against a team that in Michigan, ideally, I don't know what they're sitting at in rankings right now. If you can pull that up, I think they're ranked in the top 25. They might even be, I think they're like number 12 or some shit, maybe 15. I'm not 100% sure, but they're a ranked team. So we'll see what Nebraska can do. We already saw what Nebraska did against OU. They held their own. So I think Ohio State, they got one of the toughest schedules going into the rest of the season. They play Nebraska at some point, Michigan State, and I think Penn State. And all those teams are ranked right now. And if they play Iowa, I'm not 100% sure they play Iowa this year. If they play Iowa, they're going to be having two teams in the top 5 on their record. Well, one of them won't be in top 5 because they play this week. That's another game this weekend that I don't know about you guys, but that's going to be a huge game. I don't know if either of you picked that game. Jake, you might, because it might be game day, but Iowa Penn State is going to be a huge game. And that spread's only 2. I mean, that is a 2 really good defenses. And so I think Ohio State, as long as they can. Oh, all right. Yeah. OU Texas.
And Michigan is 9 right now.
9. So they're top 10. I mean, dude, we got 4 teams in the top 10 out of the Big Ten. A lot of 10s around here. And so, yeah, I think the Big Ten is actually a really strong conference. It's going to be interesting to see what Michigan's record is going into the into the Ohio State game at the end of the year. Michigan State's another team where we're like, wow, they're actually kind of freaking good. And so that I went 2-2 last week. Wisconsin's just trash. I'm trying to think of some other games that were on this weekend that we need to talk about. What was the one?
I haven't talked about Oklahoma State yet.
Yeah, so. I would say LSU Baylor. That was top 25.
Oklahoma State. Jake, I actually had a question for you that I just remembered. Is it more true to say, would you say Oklahoma State is the worst undefeated team, amongst the worst undefeated team, or one of the sneaky better undefeated teams and emphasis on the sneaky part? Because like you guys might be able to sneak up on some teams.
Well, I think definitely sneaky good. I think the thing is that if you just look at the game of what transpired I mean, dude, like we literally need to get on our knees and like pray to God that like we don't deserve our defense. Like we turned the ball over twice on the 32 and the 37 or something like that. And both times we sacked them and took them out of field goal range. I mean, that's 2 automatic field goals that they have if they just run the ball up the middle 3 times in a row and kick the field goal. Like, so we got 2 basically automatic field goals taken off because our defense pushed them off. And I mean, for the most part, I mean, there was the 1 4th and 2 toss where we stacked the box, blitz all, and then the dude hits the edge and he's gone for 60 yards or whatever. So that was the 1 touchdown that was kind of bad. So in reality, we only really let them score that 1 long drive touchdown. So our defense played out of their minds, dude. And I could not imagine if Trey Sterling and Trace Ford, like 2 of our best defensive players, aren't playing. Like how good our defense is playing right now.
Those are huge losses. I mean, huge losses. And
our defense is still playing crazy. And offensively, I mean, dude, anytime you have a 3 turnover to 0, like we were -3 turnovers in the game and you can still win by 2 possessions, like you have to be good. Because the thing is at the end of the day, like, yeah, if we make a bunch of mistakes, I think we can lose to some lackluster teams. But if we put together a perfect game and we play great on offense, I think we can beat everybody on our schedule. I mean, there's nobody on our schedule that I don't think talent-wise that we couldn't beat.
Going into next week, not this coming weekend. This coming weekend, you guys have a bye, so that's actually huge for you guys. Because
clear-eyed, full hearts can't lose.
Yeah, you're going to be facing Texas coming off of a bye for you guys, and them coming off of probably, what usually is a showdown down in Dallas, and a pretty tight game, and it's an exhausting game for both teams in OU and Texas. You guys are going to be pretty well rested. Would you rather face it winning Texas out of the Bedlam or out of the Red River Showdown, or would you rather face a Texas team that had just lost going into next week?
I was gonna save this for the picks, but we can go now.
Get right into it. Just get right into it.
Okay. Well, I mean, dude, here's the thing about OU Texas. I don't even know what it's called anymore. When I was growing up, it was the Red River Rivalry. Then it turned to the Red River Showdown. Now it's the Best Friends Bowl, or
no,
I don't know.
I guess it was the Red River Shootout, and then people canceled that, and it's now the Showdown. And now I guess Jake, breaking news. It's now the Best Friends Bowl. This is actually a game where it's kind of like they're
Traders Anonymous.
Yeah, Traders Anonymous Bowl. So yeah, I don't know what it's called either, but whatever it is, it's Red River. It's the Red River game. Oh,
I mean,
beat Texas. All right, Preston wants to beat Texas. I don't know if they're going to.
I mean, here's the thing is, if both teams could lose, that would be a perfect world. If one team could win and then the team that won had to vacate the loss, that's what I want to happen. That's like such a rare occurrence. I don't think it's going to happen. So as much as it pains me to say, I have to take Texas in this game because our game depends upon it. So it is already announced that the following week, Oklahoma State, Texas, if Texas loses, we play 11 o'clock on Fox. If Texas wins, we play 6:30 ABC primetime. So
you're saying you'd rather play them primetime? Well, of course you would, but
yeah, I'd rather play at 6 than at 11. I mean, that's just part of the deal. Like, it's just how it is. And you get a better win out of it. Texas, they already have the loss.
Are you taking Texas plus 3.5?
Yes, I'm taking Texas plus 3.5.
Dude, I was looking at that too, and Preston, we're gonna let you get into it. I kind of already think I know what your thoughts are, but we'll let you get into it too. I think Texas is gonna win this game. Ooh, and I hate saying this. I hate saying it. I'm not taking the pick in terms of the show, but I think Texas actually is going to win this game. I think I don't think they're back, but I do think them going to, I think it's Caleb Thompson or whatever it is. I think them switching that quarterback was huge. I think it changed everything, and then that defense is actually not that bad. They're just better than we thought they would be. I'm not saying what they think they are. I don't agree with what they think. They think they're the best team in the nation. I don't agree with that. I'm just saying, I just think they're better than what we probably should think they are. So
we thought they were.
I happened to do a little scouting this weekend watching the Texas TCU game, and I can tell you right now that TCU did everything they possibly could to give Texas that win. Texas did not show me anything to make me overly worried this weekend. Yeah, Casey Thompson can go put some points on the board. But, I mean, look, the TCU turned the ball over so much, making dumb errors in that game. They fumbled a punt inside the 10 for Texas to go in and get a touchdown. This Texas offensive line is the worst offensive line OU's going to play against since probably Tulane. So there's going to be pressure put on Casey Thompson.
You guys struggle with Tulane.
No, not on against a defensive line versus offensive line. That in the secondary, I would agree. But as the offensive line is not that good for Texas. They're dealing with injuries. Okay. One of their starters just went out. I think, I don't know, a lower leg injury or something last week for CCU. Anyways, but I expect Perrion Winfrey and Isaiah Thomas, Nick Benito to try and get after Casey Thompson this week. And as long as the Sooners secondary gets back to healthy this week, if they get Delarian Turner-Yell back, he's missed since that West Virginia game where he tweaked his hamstring. And that's a guy that started 20 to 30 games for you right there at safety. So that's some experience that you need back right there. And I mean, look, you saw Kennedy Brooks get going last week. That Sooner running game got going, and Texas's defense is nothing to sit here and brag about. They're probably middle of the pack in the Big 12. So it's one of those games that it could go either way, just because that's how a rivalry game goes. But I mean, who knows? We'll see. I like the Sooners.
You might have convinced me that. Now I don't know.
I'll put it this way. If you don't take the spread, take the over. I think it's going to be a shootout. Both teams good on offense. Both teams bad on defense. I mean, okay on defense.
What is the over?
I just saw it. Hang on. Yeah.
69. It's close. It's really close.
It might be like 68 or something.
I think 68 and a half, I think. It's somewhere in the ballpark.
What did you think of Baylor, though?
63 and a half.
63 and a half. All right. Yeah. Hammer that over. I actually, you know what? Put that on I'm taking that. Remind me to take that later.
I think that's a good pick. But Baylor, I think, it's hard to tell.
I'm taking that over 63.5.
Offensively, they, we just played so good on defense. It's hard to tell
because they're a -3 favorite against West Virginia. And I'm just trying to gauge those two teams because not for any rhyme or reason, but Baylor is like what is their deal? Baylor is always mediocre, great mediocre team. They're always a great mediocre team, right? Like they always just find a way to just be in games. It's unreal.
Yeah, Baylor, I mean, ever since the Art Briles era, they've really risen. Before that, I mean, they were garbage. But I will say the one thing that drives me nuts, dude, is Baylor's probably the third worst fan base in the all Big 12. They are the saltiest people on earth. Like when they lost,
absolute
dude,
worst.
Just unbelievable, dude. The things that I heard coming out of Baylor, like they said something like that one of our coordinators came from Baylor and we knew their hand signs. Like, bro, dude, they're you know what their signs are? They hold up a sign with a number on it. And it's like, I have no association with Baylor. You guys know that. And I knew what play they're running. I mean, like, I can read a number and kind of guess what's going on. Like, dude, it's so stupid. And it's like, they were just shouting all kinds of stuff of like our traditions are stolen and just all kinds of stuff, dude. It was crazy.
Oh yeah, I went down to that 2019 game in Waco when Jalen Hurts and crew were down like 28-3 or whatever it was, and they came back and won in the second half. And needless to say, we had some people trying to kick us out of the stadium there at the end of the game down there. It was a fun time if you like talking shit to a bunch of good Christian folk down there in Waco, but you know what? Hey, I clearly agree though. They are not good fans down there at Baylor.
Yeah.
Speaking of not good, Clemson is not good. Talk about down bad. I mean, they're fucking
that's a rough one.
They're just terrible. I mean, they're a terrible team, right? I mean, they're not even going to finish in the top 25. Probably they might not make a bowl game.
Yeah, I mean, they barely beat Boston College last week. That's
Boston
not good.
College should have won. They screwed themselves on the final play. Or not the final play,
I didn't get to
plays.
see that one, but yeah.
Boston College, basically the same as what you said for Texas or TCU giving the game to Texas. Boston College gave that game to Clemson. Clemson shouldn't have won that game, but they're bad. They're just a bad team. So let's get right into our college picks, and then
hold on. What? Before that, dude, did you guys see Waka Flocka in the crowd at Kentucky?
No, I did not.
You see?
No, but that was a huge game.
Dude. So Kentucky beat Florida for the first time, like in I don't know,
first
what
time
was
at
it,
home
13
or 16? No, first time at home in I think 33 years.
Yeah,
and they've beaten them twice since 2018. And those are the only two times, and actually maybe those are the only two times in 30 years or something. But yeah, it's crazy stats for Kentucky, Florida. Crazy.
But dude, yeah, freaking, they all rushed the field and they played Grove Party or Grove Street. You know, it's a party by Waka, and Waka was in the crowd, and they just went insane, dude. Like went total nuclear. Yeah, it was nuts. I just had to get that in there. I saw that on little behind the scenes. One of the students was taking a video from his phone, and it was crazy.
Speaking of behind the scenes videos from phones, I mean, you guys, and being down bad. I mean, Urban Meyer's let it down bad.
And, we can get into this whenever we talk NFL, but news out of Jacksonville doesn't seem good for old Urban.
It does not seem good for old Urban. You know, I think he just lost. He left his comfort zone of college, lost his way. And also, by the way, I saw this take out there. Preston, maybe you saw me retweet it and say something about it, but I actually like this take. The job is not USC. The job is LSU. The job is Urban to LSU. Urban to LSU would be mayhem. First off, LSU would be back. I mean, they would start balling on them down there, and USC would be sitting there with their dick in their hand, just being like, "Fuck, we could have got him." They just waited too long. They didn't make an action. They should have got him before he went to Jacksonville. USC missed the opportunity. If you just give him the bag, just be like, fill it up without as much money as you want, and he would have went there. I think he really would have. But it looks like he's out of Jacksonville pending. It's just a matter of time now. But what a video to come out. I mean, that's just.
Well, and did you see like sad. The other angle that came out? I believe it was yesterday. Yeah. 2
fingers, pistol gun, and right up.
Yeah.
Not a good look. Let's get into our picks real quick, and then we'll head into some NFL talk. I'm going back-to-back weeks, taking BYU. BYU's -5 against I can't remember who against Boise State. -5.5 on the road at Boise State. I just think BYU. I think 5.5 is too easy for them. They're number 10. Boise State's struggling still. BYU 5.5. 2 weeks in a row. Do me a favor, please, BYU. They spent a couple seasons fucking me over throughout the years, but not this year. They've been really good to me. So I got BYU -5.5 against Boise. I got Stanford +11.5. They're coming off a huge win against Oregon. We kind of almost missed that. They're coming off a huge win against Oregon. Arizona State is 4-10 against the spread over the last 2 or against the spread against Stanford. And so and they're 1-7 at home. So I got Stanford 11.5. They're riding high right now. I think they're going to end up breaking the top 25. They did not this week. I got Michigan State -5 at Rutgers. Michigan State, as I kind of said earlier, Michigan State, Michigan, Penn State, Iowa, kind of big dogs and obviously those guys are sitting behind Ohio State, who is top dog. Maybe not in the rankings, but in the eye test. Ohio State is by far still the best team, and they're starting to figure it out right now. But Michigan State, I think, is right up there too as like above. I think they're going to finish as a top 25 team is my point. And so I got Michigan State -5.5 at Rutgers. And then also I'm taking over 63.5 in that Bedlam, or not Bedlam. I keep calling it Bedlam. Red River Showdown, whatever it's called. It's because I see you two every freaking week wearing your red and orange. I got the over 63 in that game, 63.5. So mark me down for 4 picks this week. Preston, what do you got?
All right, so I have, first of all, the Ponies of SMU, newly into the top 25 this week, -13.5 versus Navy. I think that's a good one. And then we have a little SEC flair for the rest of my picks here this week. Staying in conference, if you will. Alabama -18 versus A&M. I like that one. And then Georgia. How can you not pick Georgia right now? I mean, Georgia -14.5 versus Auburn. I'll take that all day, every day of the week. I think those 2 picks right there are pretty solid. So those are my 3 picks this week. Hopefully we can get right the wrongs and get a 3-0 week this week. So,
you know who was another team that actually go ahead, Jake. You might be taking this pick, so I don't want to bum rush that that topic.
Yeah, I'm conflicted because, like I said, the worse I pick, the better my team does. So I don't know if I should fade myself or not. But Houston screwed me last week, so whatever. I'll flip it. I'll take the other side. I'll take Houston -6 against Tulane. I know Tulane's offense is pretty good, but overall they're 1-4. Like, they've lost a bunch of games, so we'll see what happens with that. -6 is pretty low for Houston, that's playing pretty good right now. Obviously, Traders Anonymous, Best Friends Bowl. Got to take Texas +3.5. We'll see how that game goes. That's probably going to be a shootout. I like the over too, but we'll take Texas +3.5 because I need that 6 p.m. ABC game. And then one that's kind of wild is I'm taking Baylor, West Virginia. I'm taking the under 44.5.
I was thinking that too.
That's really low over under, but man, West Virginia's offense is absolute garbage. Baylor, I think we exposed them to show that, like, hey, like, you can slow them down a lot if you force them to pass. So we'll see what happens. But those are my 3 picks.
Yeah, another pick I was going to take was Arkansas +6 at Ole Miss. I think Ole Miss obviously got exposed.
I thought about
by
that
Bama.
one as well. Yeah,
that one caught my eye. The Baylor game under caught my eye as well, just because I think they're like you. I mean, you nailed it. You can expose that defense if you're West Virginia, but they don't really have a great offense. And Baylor, you can expose everything for Baylor. I thought that game too. And so one thing we got 3 minutes. We're going to talk about this real quick. We need to decide on what we're going to do for the loser of this show and this segment. And Jake, I know you said you don't care about this. You'd rather have your team win, so you might fade yourself. But let's throw out some options. I don't know what you guys have in mind. We're going to do either something like flavored soda. We got to drink some flavored soda, and not good flavor. I'm not talking like vanilla Coke and
we can run up to Pops and get some ones there.
We'll go to Pops, and the two non-losers will pick the 3 drink. You had to try 3 of them. We'll pick the 3 drinks for the loser, or similar aspect. We'll do flavored jelly beans. I'll order some of those flavored jelly beans, and the losers got to eat those. If you guys have any ideas, bring them to the table
maybe
now.
Like the hot chip, something like that.
The hot chip is an idea. Jake would die if he had to do that. Jake probably might not agree to that
for
one.
Spicy. I'll drink 2 bad sodas over a spicy thing.
And so we got to decide on something. Let's have 3 things to put out on Twitter.
Yeah, so we can put a poll out. Yeah.
Yep. I'll make a poll, and then you, our listeners, our viewers, can decide what we or Jake has to do, because Jake, you are going to you're going to lose this. I say that now. Here I am. I'm probably going to lose it, but yeah, we'll put out a poll of 3 things real quick. What do you guys think it should be? I think it's the soda, the jelly beans, and then something else.
Yeah, I'm trying to think off the top of my head something else,
or just another option as a punishment.
Yeah.
Jake, anything?
Oh, man.
Going once.
I mean, on the spot, it's maybe have to, I don't know, wear another team's jersey or something for a week or something.
We might do that. Wear another team's jersey. All right, we'll put those options out, and we're going to talk some football. So yeah, we'll put out a poll for either soda from Pops that we, the non-losers choose for the loser. Bad, shitty flavored jelly beans, or gotta wear the jersey of the 2 non-losers choice, or team, or whatever. We'll figure something out like that if that's the case, if that's the one that wins. But we'll put a poll out, please. If you see it, fucking just vote. It doesn't take 2 seconds to just go click or hit retweet, or both of those things. Hit retweet on it, like it, please. It'll make it fun. It'll make it interesting. We'll make a whole video about it. Jake's got a little teaser back there too for the winner. I don't know. Let's reveal that, Jake. Pull it on out.
You want to see it?
Yeah, let's let everyone know what we're playing for. The winner is playing for not having to do the punishment, and also getting the trophy. And this trophy will stick with the winner, and they can do whatever they want with it for the whole year until the next season. And next season, they'll hold on to it until the end of the season, or we'll create a commissioner of sorts and let the commissioner hold on to it. And what's it say at the bottom again?
It's Rabbit Hole Sports Pick'em Champ.
Pick'em Champ. Let's do it. And I think they'll be sitting right over here, if you will, come December timeframe. And Jake will probably be eating or drinking some terribly chosen soda or jelly beans.
As long as my team wins, I'm good.
Yeah, I guess, right? Let's get into some NFL talk. Preston, I mean, we might as well go with recency bias, or not recency bias, just recency topics. Chargers, you guys are.
Looking pretty good. Last year when we were doing the sports show at UCO, we had our weekly Justin Herbert segment. I think we're going to have to keep doing that, because, God, that kid is just slinging the football all over the place. Beat the undefeated Raiders, who I said were frauds. They are frauds. I would like that to be known. And also, you can have a rain delay in a dome. I mean,
dude, that was by far the wildest thing. Everyone's face with the. Did you see John Gruden's face? They replayed that like a billion times.
He just John pointed Gruden up, and he was like,
"What?" That was everyone last night when that was announced. A rain delay in a dome. Everyone is like, what? Like, didn't even know that could happen. By far, that was like the craziest, like non-actual football related thing that probably happened, other than the Urban Meyer situation, but we're not talking about that. And so, the Raiders aren't. I don't know if they're as bad as you're making them out to be, Preston, because that's kind of biased on your part. But I do think they're not as good as maybe everyone like the masses thought. Obviously, if they would have won that game, they're undefeated, one of the last two undefeated. Right now, it's now just Cardinals, which to me is kind of crazy. The last few seasons, we've gone into week 7 or 8 or 9 with a couple undefeated teams. Now it's only week 4 and we have one 4-0 team. That's pretty crazy. And the fact that it's the Cardinals, they pulled up a huge win over the Rams in LA. That was huge for them. They are looking like a team to be out of the NFC. Yeah. I think it's them, Packers, and not much else. Obviously Tampa Bay. I forgot about them for a second. But I think Arizona's for real. And we kind of already talked about them ad nauseum. I don't know why I said that twice, but we talked about them a lot at the beginning of the season when they had that huge offseason. Now they have an unreal loaded offense in Kyler Murray, Christian Kirk, DeAndre Hopkins, Larry Fitzgerald, AJ Green. I mean, well, Larry
Fitzgerald isn't on the team right now. He's still a free agent, but I'd assume that come closer to the playoffs, so he probably
I didn't even realize that. I honestly didn't know that.
But he hasn't officially retired yet. But they do have Rondale Moore, the rookie from Purdue, who's very good.
I must have totally missed that fucking story that Larry Fitzgerald.
Yeah, AJ Green kind of took Fitzgerald's spot, but he kind of left it open to where
they're still studded on that fucking offense, and then the defense is no joke either. But Baker's unreal. I was going through the couple last few years draft classes, just sobbing over Justin Herbert and Justin Fields too. And boy, did the Giants just have like not great drafts the last couple of years. I mean, they could have done so much better. Not that they're doing terrible. I mean, they've turned out to be some decent picks, but there's a lot of picks that they could have had that they just did. Mainly Justin Herbert. And I've said it already on this show, this episode, and I've said it. I might say it every time we talk NFL, but Justin Herbert's the real deal. I think, like I said earlier, it's him, Josh Allen, and Patrick Mahomes. I think those are the 3 quarterbacks of the NFL right now in terms of the future of the league.
I think you could add Kyler Murray in there as well. He does some things that you like.
Add Kyler Murray as well. And obviously, there's obviously quarterbacks. I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying like for the long term, like the next 20 years, like I don't know if Baker and Kyler will play as long just because they get Baker probably might play longer than Kyler, unless Kyler learns to sit in the pocket more. But like as they take those hits, it's just like Lamar Jackson. I don't think Lamar Jackson's going to have a long career because he just takes too many hits, which is all right. Because you know what, when he gets it done, he gets it done. They haven't really got it done a whole lot this year, but I think that's a whole other topic we could talk about that I don't want to get into right now. What I do want to talk about is, Jake, your fucking Broncos screwed me. And what's going on there? Yeah. I mean, Teddy Bridgewater got hurt and now Drew Lock's back in. And how do you feel? Because you were all on Drew Lock going into the season before you guys picked up Teddy Two Gloves. And now Teddy Two Gloves doing good. You guys lose when he goes down.
Yeah, I mean, well, also we played a legitimate team. I mean, up until that point, the combined record of everybody we played was 0-9. So, I mean, I think the Ravens are a legitimate team. Yeah, okay. Well, the thing is that I personally watched Drew Lock in person play at Missouri when we played him. We played him in the bowl game. Like, I think Drew Lock is a decent quarterback. I think he's really young and there's a couple things he needs to get done to get better. But, Teddy was playing good. I mean, at the end of the day, the Broncos just aren't there yet. I mean, the thing is like, unless our defense is literally like number 1, number 2 in the entire NFL, like we're just not there yet because that's what we're usually used to. I mean, that's the thing. Like when you're talking about draft classes with the Giants or whatever, like we take defense year in, year out. Like we never hardly ever. And that just murdered our offense.
You usually hit on those picks. So, I mean, you guys got Patrick Surtain, and he's like one of the best. He's like one of the best rookies he's like a contender for rookie of the year. And he's really good. I mean, he's just really damn good.
Yeah. Yeah. Throughout the years, we got Surtain last year. We had Chubb the other year before that. Like we've hit on a lot of defensive players, but the thing is eventually, offense. Yeah, the offense gets destroyed in the process of that. We had no receivers. I mean, like right now, Judy and what's the Penn State guy's name? Hamilton or oh gosh, number
Hamilton.
One. But
I can't remember.
He's number one, Kenny Hamilton or it's something like that. And he's decent. Judy's decent. Like we're okay. I mean, Melvin Gordon, I believe is a good running back. Like our offensive line is
shout out the Chargers.
So yeah, and our division is just so weird. Back in the day, like the Raiders were horrible. The Chargers weren't that good. Kansas City was okay, and we were on top. And then it switched to KC's on top, and then they win a Super Bowl, and then now the Chargers are on top. So we're just, we're just on the merry-go-round.
I think it is the Chargers' time. Chiefs aren't great. Actually, this weekend will be a huge test for them. They play Buffalo. I think that's going to be a huge game. Buffalo goes into KC. That's like, obviously, it's a potential AFC Championship matchup. Obviously, that could happen. But that's a huge game for KC. If they don't win that, they go down 3-2. And also, like, how are they going to look? If it's a close game and both teams are playing good, then obviously it'll be more telling. But still, to go down 2-3 heading into the middle part of the season is not great. I got a thing I want to put out there. There's always been a thing with America about westward expansion. And then now, teams, slowly start moving out west, and you got Las Vegas. Now we got 2 teams in LA. We got a nice new stadium. Is the league looking to shift to LA? Like we always thought the heart and soul of NFL was like the New England Patriots and the Colts and the Steelers and the Giants and the Bears. Maybe not the Bears over the last 50 years, but you know what I'm saying. It's always been like teams out in the Midwest Midwest and East, Central America and East, not teams out in the West. Seattle had a little good run. San Fran had a good run. Everything's heading towards LA. LA can make a huge amount of money for everyone just because there's just so much money there. Preston, this kind of actually was stemmed to the conspiracy that the NFL is going to, choreograph the NFL league as a whole and teams and push for certain things and control certain things, mainly the referees, to make it so that where LA is the fucking franchise of the league because you can make so much money there. And there is 2 teams out there. I mean, they got the richest stadium that you can have a rain delay in that has a dome. I mean, everything's pointing towards LA. Is that something that like really might be happening? I actually forgot what I was even asking.
You basically talking about NFL like switching more West Coast than East Coast or Central. I mean, when you look at the game of football, where is it more prevalent at? And you're going to say the Midwest or the southern part of the United States.
I remember I was going to say.
You look at Alabama, Florida, Georgia, Texas, even Ohio. States like that, those are where mainly football has a stranglehold on. Out west, I mean, you have like powerhouse schools out there, like when it comes to high school, but I mean, you don't really see it much like it is in Texas or it is in like a Florida or something like that.
What brought this like thought of NFL like basically pushing at wanting success in LA was when you mentioned about the fans. You mentioned something about the fans. Charger fans don't care about the non-fans of LA's team. You're still the Chargers fans, right? I actually think it's actually not a far off thought that the LA fans of the Chargers actually might not care like the true grit, like real, like you do for OU and Jake, you do for Oklahoma State. LA Charger fans, the new ones that are in LA, and the LA Ram fans, the new ones that are in LA, not the St. Louis Rams fans, not the San Diego Chargers fans, but the new LA Rams and LA Chargers fans. They might not have that grittiness to them, but if they are fans enough, their money. That's what everything stems around. Yeah, money. And there's so much money in LA, so they would want success in LA. And so I think both LA teams are to stick around for a decent amount of time. And who knows? I mean, obviously you got a young quarterback with Herbert, and Matthew Stafford's. He's what, 32, 33? He could play another 10
somewhere
years.
In there, yeah.
He could play another 10 years easily, especially if he has a good line in front of him, protecting him. He could be there for 10 years. So, I mean, a lot of success in the NFL, both in the NFL world, a lot of success points to LA the next 10 years.
Well, no. And when you have LA, this is really going to show. Anyways, but you have like the TikTok stars. Like a couple of weeks ago, they had Charlie D'Amelio and her family at the Chargers game. She has like 20 million followers or something like that on TikTok, and probably close like
a lot.
Yeah, like a lot of followers.
Jake is our TikTok guru and our YouTube celebrity.
Yeah, over 100 million.
Yeah, so it's like they invite all of them out there to the Chargers game just because they live out there. And that right there is 100 million eyes right there on your franchise. And you have that ability when you're in LA to have that with basically every celebrity that's out there. I mean, name a celebrity and you can be like, hey, you want to come? Here's a suite for you for this Sunday. You guys are more than welcome to come to the game. I mean, that's just how it's going to work out there.
Huge factor. Jake, go ahead, actually.
It's kind of like what USC did back in the day with Snoop Dogg at practice, and you have all the access to the security. I did read a study back in the day of like, if you could wipe the table and completely delete out of your memory of every NFL team, and you had to redraw the map and re-put teams and cities, where would you put them? And for the most part, like the NFL is right on the money, and college football is all over the place. And it's one of those things where it's money. People care about money, and money drives everything, but it ruins the pageantry and the tradition of football, where, if you have a kid that grows up in Oklahoma, he goes to Oklahoma State, does all these things, and then gets drafted to the NFL, and then he goes and plays for the Seahawks. Well, what do he have anything to do with the Seahawks? Like, there's no connection that you have with that team that's at 10,000 miles away. So it's like,
everything's starting to make sense now and Jake, like I said, and you just said, it all revolves around money. I think the rebranding of the Rams with their new off-shade yellow and blue that are way too similar to the Chargers, I think like they know how much money they can make, because think about all the people that just wear sports teams merch that don't even watch sports, You'll see it there. There's guys, girls alike that wear a sports team hat or a sports team shirt just because they don't even have affiliation. They don't even watch the sport. They might not even know what sport it is. The Chargers have the perfect color scheme to sell that blue and yellow, a nice blue and yellow. And so, of course, they want 100 million eyes, because then guess what? Even if they got a 0.0001 of those people just to buy their Bolt logo blue and yellow t-shirt or hat because it looks good, they just made a fuck ton of money. And that's just the baseline, So I think it's perfect scheme, marketing, whatever you want to call it, to kind of rebrand that LA colors to be a little bit more like the Chargers, because it's going to sell more to more people. And it's a younger crowd. And like you said, Charlie D'Amelio has 100 million followers. Who knows what they could get just from the people that just like the colors.
Well, what people don't realize too is it's not just, Charlie's the big name there, but it was also a lot of other people that were there. That
a whole bunch of other people. I'm not just saying one
10 or 20 different people that all have over 10 million followers, and then you start climbing the ladder.
100%. Go ahead.
Dallas has done the same thing recently. They had, if you follow like Twitch streamers, he's now on YouTube now, but Tim the Tap Man, he was playing Warzone with Zeke on the Jumbotron there in Jerry World, last week or 2 weeks ago. So it's kind of like the same thing that like Dallas is doing, but with LA, and like a TikTok star.
Going to a game now isn't just about watching the game. It's a whole experience. I mean,
it's about who's there, and what's going on. Yeah,
it's a clout thing for one, especially out in LA. If you go to that stadium and you're down on that field, I mean, like you're in like the heart of a spaceship, Yeah. And so that's a clout thing for sure. And so it's not just about the game itself that's being played on the field or on the court or on the ice. It's about the experience that you have when you go to this thing. It's a whole day event, probably. It's a whole 4, 5, 6 hours before and after surrounding the game itself.
And that goes also into now with being able to watch the games on TV so easily that they kind of have to make it an experience when you go 100%. To the game like that, or else 100%. It's just like, what's the difference? Why do I want to go to the game when I can stay at home, save money, and watch it for free, basically?
And see, that's the true devil of the game, is that at the end of the day, they try to pretend like people showing up, doing all those things is paying for it. It's not. It's TV. TV is where they're making their money. They could not sell a single ticket in the stadium and still make $100 million from the TV.
As we saw last year. As we saw
that in 2020, they did. Yeah. They don't need people in the stands to make money. It just looks good and it makes them extra money.
Yeah, that's the problem. I'm a very traditionalist in that sense of that. I liked when they were in St. Louis. I liked when the Chargers were in San Diego. Because it's just more people that are passionate to have access to it. Like, what's the point of having 5 teams in LA and having 3 teams in Dallas and 2 teams in Miami? And it's like, might as well just move Tampa Bay down to Miami because there's more money there. And it's just, you're not thinking, when you're thinking of money instead of what the game needs and who can have access to the game and who's going to be a loyal fan base and keep it around. Because at the end of the day, money is great, but what people don't realize is there's going to be tough times. And when your team starts sliding down and you become that bottom feeder and you go 0-16, then all those people, if you're in LA and you're a Chargers fan, you're not really a Chargers fan. I mean, they just got there. You're just getting tickled by it, but you go 0-16 or something, and those people aren't going to show up. They're not going to buy the game. They're not going to watch it. They don't care, So you destroy the loyalty of your fan base by moving things around and selling out for money and things. And then when you go through bad times, it hits you twice as hard because you lost all those people. It's like they burn. It's just like with the Rams and St. Louis, all those St. Louis people, I couldn't imagine what they went through. Their team's just gone. Poof. One day you had them, and the next day they're just, we're gone. See you later. Sorry, thanks for supporting us for 50 years.
Imagine being someone that all you do is just tune in on Sunday. You check the newspaper for what time the game is, and you tune in on Sunday and turn it on, and there they are. Imagine not watching any ESPN or not following news whatsoever, being completely sheltered from that, waking up on Sunday morning and have it be LA Rams. What the hell? They're not playing down the road.
Well, and the good thing is I say not good thing, but the thing is with St. Louis is that the Rams weren't really ever too good, except for outside of those years in the 90s and early 2000s. And if you ever go up there, the Cardinals really run that town just because of the history that they have. And now you have the Blues. So losing that NFL team just because that's football, America runs on football and all that.
Damn right. I think, Duncan logo.
Yeah. I was trying to think. I was like, that's from somewhere, but no. But yeah, I mean, I think, I don't know. It just sucks that teams had to move from different places to go elsewhere.
You're telling me, OU fan. You're telling me, bro.
Wow. Great. That was great. That's getting clipped. Let's get into, I don't know if you guys did it. It's a terrible week to do so, but the rabbit hole part.
Yeah, I did, but I was looking at the game. And I was like, God, these are
they were terrible dogs. Terrible dogs. let's push it to next week because I want to be able to give our fans actual good dog parlays. Like I want to have confidence in these picks. I want them to be picks that people can actually, if you're betting wherever you are, to make money on, because I want to be confident in these picks. I thoroughly enjoy taking dogs because when they fucking hit, it's like, damn it, I fucking knew it. And it makes you money. But I actually take a lot of dogs. I've hit quite a bit of them aside from the show. And so I want to I want these rabbit hole parlays to be something that, not that the show ones aren't, and not that we're not taking that one serious. I want those to be parlays that we are feel very strongly about. And I don't feel strongly about any of the dogs this week, except for Buffalo. I think Buffalo is plus 2.5 is going to win. That's the only dog pick. That's the ones that
I had down here.
I'll give out, but if you're watching this and you take this, this is not an official rabbit hole parlay. But what I was going to do is Buffalo plus 2.5 at KC, New York Giants plus 7 at Dallas, and Washington football team plus 1.5 at New Orleans. I do kind of like two of them. Giants, I don't think are going to beat Dallas. I want them to. I'm a Giants fan. I root for them to, but I don't think they are. Dallas is just a damn good team this year, and they're just getting better every week. And so I don't feel strongly about that one. So if I were to give one out, that's what it would be. And we'll give one out next week. But I want that parlay to be something that we, for whatever each of us do, I want that to be something we feel strongly about. And what I actually just thought of right now is we should actually each bring one dog pick to the table, and that's the rabbit hole parlay. One that's, we just created it. We just throw everything out. Each of us come to the table with one dog pick, and if we don't have three of them, if you don't feel strongly about a dog pick, you don't put one out there. So if we don't have three, we ain't putting out a rabbit hole parlay that week. I would say Buffalo plus 2.5. Jake, if you have one that's different than that, or Preston, and we can come up with three, we'll do it. But I think we should wait till next week, and that should be what the rabbit hole parlay is.
I have here on my screen, I have the Seahawks -2 versus the Rams. I think +2. Never mind. They're +2 versus the Rams. That or the Eagles plus 4.5 versus the Panthers.
I don't like the one for the Eagles because the Eagles are so bad they're just so bad. And I think Carolina's going to be able to come back after a loss against Dallas. And same with the Rams. That's why I don't like the Seahawks, is because I don't think the Rams are going to lose 2 in a row. I think they're just too good to do that. I just think they lost that one game against Cardinals because the Cardinals are just damn good. I don't think they lose 2 in a row, especially the Seahawks, because you can't lose back-to-back games in division. You start tearing yourself down. And so I don't like either of those picks, to be honest.
Yeah, no,
Jake,
there was
had one. But yeah, like I said, the only one I feel confident is Buffalo plus 2.5. I think they win that game. I think Kansas City is having a slump year. Jake, anything?
Oh, well, no, I was not prepared for that. But the thing is full disclosure. By the time Sunday rolls around, I watch, 2 games at 11, 3 games at 11, 3 games at 2:30, 3 games at 6, and then 9:30. I watch like 20 games all back to back to back. And then I try to watch NFL, but I can only pick a few here and there. So, I mean, in my rabbit hole contract, I didn't see it anywhere where I was, you should never take, I'll put it this way, you should never take an NFL pick for me, ever. I was like, I do not watch it as much as I do college. College is one of those things to where, if we did one of those DraftKings things, if we did like, I try to pick games that a lot of people are going to watch or at least have some relevancy. I think if we went the other route and we just picked whatever, and I could pick some FCS teams and some small schools and stuff like that, I think my record would skyrocket a little bit. But that's kind of the beauty of college football, is that you can get those small name schools that Vegas doesn't really know much about. So the spread's kind of wonky, and then you get easy wins through that way. But the NFL is like, obviously, there's only 32 teams. So it's like, they're going to know everything you're going to know about it. Yeah. So you should never, next week I will give you a pick, and I'll give you a pick from here on out. It wasn't in my contract, but I'll do it anyway. But
for everyone watching and listening, we don't have contracts. We don't have contracts. Yes, we do. No, we don't. And so we won't do NFL picks, but I do like Buffalo plus 2.5. I'll probably take them. I don't have it right now, but I'll probably end up putting them on my my card for the weekend.
And the Chargers Browns game is a pick 'em right now. So if that moves
I want to say the Browns are going to win that game. And that's coming from second biggest supporter of Justin Herbert and the Chargers. They're like, I wish I could root for you guys or them. And I kind of can, but not really. I wish I could actually put heart into it because I don't care if you lose, which is why I think Browns might actually win that game. I think Browns are I think it's the Chargers, the Browns and the Bills for the AFC right now. I think that's the top 3 teams out there in that conference. And so I think the Browns are going to give you guys a run for the money. Now, if they don't, then that shows a lot for you guys. That says a lot for the Chargers. If you guys just steamroll them, because that's a hell of a defense they got out there in Cleveland and not a terrible offense by any means.
Yeah.
And so that's going to be a really good game to watch. I wonder if it's going to be Sunday Night Football or is that?
No, that's at 3:00. Damn. But I'm sure it'll be on here in the Oklahoma City area just because of Baker Mayfield.
I hope so. Oklahoma is the worst when it comes to NFL games. It's the worst.
It's the Cowboys and whoever else they pick
most terrible teams.
For 3:00.
And so we're gonna wrap this show up here. If you guys are watching and you guys watch this before Saturday, before whatever weekend this is, October 7th. So if you're not watching these archive videos when we have a million subscribers on here, if you're not watching the archive videos and you're watching this in real time, please let us know what you would like to see in terms of a stream. What would you want to hear us talk about, whether it be the games, or do you want us to do a podcast on a live stream for games and just have live reactions to them, or just have it be a live stream and we're just chilling, watching the games and you guys are hanging out with us in the chat or whatever? Let us know on Twitter at the Bacus here, at Preston Spool 405, at Jake Cart. Guys, that's the show. I think we're going to wrap it up. There wasn't really much to talk about. I watched NFL, but I don't recall games enough to fucking camera went out. I don't recall games enough that they were meaningful to talk about. I did have that idea about the LA whole thing, NFL to wanting to centralize in LA. I think that actually might have some feet under it. We never got around to Urban Meyer to LSU as a real deep talk, but that's something we should watch out for. Until next time, Rabbit Hole Sports, Rabbit Hole Sports. See you.